Let me ask you a question. How much of your life have you already wasted listening to noise? I'm not talking about traffic or music. I'm talking about the endless scrolling, the gossip, the negativity, the distractions that steal your focus every single day. You keep saying you want success, but how can you chase greatness when you can't even hear your own thoughts? Today, I'm here to tell you, if you want to boost your productivity, if you want to change your life, you've got to kill the noise before the noise kills your dream. When people hear the word noise, the first thing that comes to their mind is loud music, traffic, or someone talking too much. But the real noise that destroys productivity is not always physical sound. It's the constant stream of distractions and negativity that creeps into your life and steals your focus without you even realizing it. Think about it. Every time you pick up your phone just to scroll, every time you check notifications that don't matter, every time you let someone else's opinion dictate how you feel about yourself, that's noise. It's the invisible enemy that clogs up your mind and slows down your ability to move forward. The noise in your environment may not always scream at you, but it whispers, it nags, it pulls your attention away from what actually matters. And because it doesn't feel as obvious as a blaring car horn, you don't notice how much damage it's really doing. The biggest trap is that noise disguises itself as normal. Social media seems harmless, but the endless scrolling fills your brain with useless comparisons. Conversations with negative people feel casual, but they drain your energy and confidence. Multitasking seems productive, but it scatters your attention into 100 directions, leaving nothing truly accomplished. That's why noise is dangerous. It doesn't come with a warning label. It blends into your routine. And before you know it, hours, days, even years have slipped through your fingers. Noise isn't just background activity. It's a thief. It robs you of deep focus. It steals your energy, and it replaces clarity with confusion. Every time you give your attention to the wrong thing, you're paying with the most valuable resource you have, your time. And here's the truth. Time wasted can never be bought back. You can lose money and earn it again, but you can't buy another hour once it's gone. That's why identifying the noise in your life is the first step toward boosting your productivity. You have to see it for what it is, a distraction designed to keep you from your highest potential. When you realize noise is more than just sound, you'll begin to notice it everywhere. In your phone, in your environment, in your thoughts. And once you recognize it, you can start cutting it out and protecting your focus like it's gold. Because the truth is, focus is the real currency of success. And every bit of noise goes unchecked is stealing it from you. Distractions are not just small interruptions. They are dream killers dressed in disguise. Every time you give in to a distraction, you trade your energy and your progress for a moment of temporary comfort or curiosity. Think about how often you sit down with a plan to work, but then a message pops up, a notification rings, or someone pulls you into a conversation that doesn't matter. By the time you return to your task, your momentum is gone and your focus is scattered. Those little interruptions seem harmless, but they add up like tiny leaks in a bucket until all your productivity drains away. The painful truth is most people never reach their full potential, not because they don't have talent, but because they let distractions consume their time and attention. Your dreams demand undivided focus. Yet every distraction you allow is like opening the door and inviting a thief to walk into your house. It steals the best hours of your day and leaves you frustrated, wondering why you can't make progress. The problem is that distractions feel comfortable. Social media gives you instant dopamine. Conversations with unmotivated friends feel easy. Entertainment makes you feel relaxed. But in reality, they're robbing you of the discipline and grind needed to get to the next level. Success doesn't belong to the person who wants it the most. It belongs to the person who can focus the longest without breaking. Every champion you admire has one thing in common. They protect their focus like their life depends on it. They shut out the noise. They turn off the phone. They say no to people who don't align with their purpose, and they create an environment where distractions have no room to breathe. They understand that every moment wasted is an opportunity lost. Productivity doesn't die in one big blow. It gets killed slowly, one small distraction at a time, until the fire inside you starts to fade. The choice is always in your hands. You can either let distractions run your life, or you can take control. Block out the unnecessary and channel your energy into what truly matters. The more you protect your focus, the stronger your productivity grows. And the closer you get to the life you said you wanted to boost productivity, you cannot simply hope distractions will go away on their own. You have to declare war on them. Distractions are aggressive, and if you are not intentional, they will invade your life every single day. The reason most people stay stuck in the same place year after year is not because they don't have dreams or ambition. It's because they never take a stand against the things that constantly pull them away from their goals. You cannot negotiate with noise. You cannot casually avoid it. You must make a decision to cut it off completely. Productivity doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of discipline and the courage to guard your time like it's the most precious thing you own. When you declare war on noise, you begin to see how much of your energy was being drained by things that didn't matter. Every scroll, every meaningless conversation, every wasted hour is an attack on your progress. And until you fight back, you'll always feel stuck. You cannot reach excellence while allowing your focus to be hijacked 100 times a day. You need to go into battle mode, eliminate excuses, and create a mindset that refuses to be distracted by nonsense. The people who achieve greatness are not always smarter or more talented, but they are relentless in protecting their attention from anything that doesn't serve their mission. Declaring war on noise means setting boundaries that others might not understand. It might mean turning off your phone for hours, saying no to people who drain your energy, or cutting out habits that provide comfort but steal time. It's not easy because the noise often feels familiar and safe, but you cannot let comfort dictate your future. Growth demands sacrifice. And the biggest sacrifice is giving up the distractions that keep you average. The moment you take control and aggressively attack the noise, you'll notice a shift in your productivity. You'll have more mental clarity, more energy, and more momentum. You'll start finishing tasks faster, producing higher quality work, and creating space for creativity to flourish. By declaring war on noise, you send a message to yourself and the world that your goals are not negotiable and nothing will stand in the way of your progress. Champions are not built in comfort zones. They are built in moments of extreme focus where distractions have no place to survive. The difference between average and extraordinary is not always talent. It's the ability to lock in when everything around you is trying to pull your attention away. Champions understand that chaos will always be present. There will always be noise, opinions, temptations, and excuses, but they make a choice to rise above it. They create an environment that allows them to channel every ounce of energy into their craft, and that's why their results look different. They don't waste time explaining why they didn't succeed. They refuse to give noise any power over their destiny. When a champion steps onto the field, into the office, or into the classroom, their mind is in one place and one place only. They are not worried about who liked their post, what gossip is trending, or what negativity is floating around them. They understand that greatness requires sacrifice, and the first sacrifice is eliminating chaos. They put on blinders like a racehorse, narrowing their focus until the only thing they can see is the finish line. That ability to stay locked in when everyone else is distracted is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Locking in is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. Every day the world throws distractions at you, and every day you have to decide whether to give in or fight back. Champions train their minds to focus so intensely that the outside world disappears. They discipline themselves to stick with their goals even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing is happening. That's how they build momentum, and momentum is what carries them past the competition. The truth is, chaos never completely disappears. There will always be noise trying to get your attention, but champions don't allow it to enter their mental space. They treat their mind like sacred ground and guard it with discipline. When you master that level of focus, productivity becomes natural. You accomplish more in a single focused hour than most people do in an entire distracted day. That's why champions win. They don't wait for the world to quiet down. They learn to silence it within themselves and keep moving forward no matter what. Replacing noise with silence, clarity, and purposeful actions is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make for your life. Most people are drowning in distractions without even realizing it, and because their world is so loud, they can't hear their own thoughts. They're busy but not productive. They're moving but not progressing. The reason is simple. They've filled their space with noise instead of focus. When you deliberately create silence, you allow your mind to breathe, to think, and to process ideas that can change your entire direction. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers, full of creativity, and full of energy that chaos can never give you. Clarity comes when the noise is gone. Imagine trying to drive through a storm with the windshield covered in mud. You won't see where you're going, and you'll likely crash. That's exactly what happens when you live in constant distraction. Noise clouds your vision, blurs your goals, and makes you second guess yourself. But when you step away, when you block the negativity, when you cut the meaningless chatter, suddenly the path ahead becomes clear. You begin to see what matters and what doesn't. You start to focus on the things that push you closer to your dreams instead of the things that pull you further away. Once silence and clarity are in place, purposeful action becomes the natural next step. Without noise weighing you down, your actions are sharper, more intentional, and more effective. You no longer waste energy on things that don't align with your mission. Every move has meaning. Every task serves a bigger picture. This is how productivity multiplies, by cutting the wasted time and pouring all of your energy into the work that truly matters. When you replace noise with purposeful action, you also gain a sense of control over your life. Instead of reacting to distractions, you start creating your own rhythm. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, you walk in one strong direction with confidence. The more you live in silence, clarity, and purpose, the more momentum you build. And that momentum carries you closer and closer to the life you've always envisioned. Cutting one source of noise today may seem like a small step, but it has the power to transform your entire life. Most people get overwhelmed because they try to change everything at once, and when they fail, they give up completely. The truth is, you don't need to eliminate every distraction in one day. You just need to start with one. Maybe it's the constant notifications on your phone that keep breaking your focus. Maybe it's the hours you lose every night to television or scrolling through social media. Maybe it's that one friend who always calls with drama and negativity that drains your energy. Whatever it is, the moment you cut it out, you reclaim control over your time and your mind. When you remove even a single distraction, you create space for productivity to grow. Think of it like cleaning a cluttered room. At first, the mess feels too overwhelming to tackle, but once you remove one pile, the space already looks better and you gain the energy to keep going. That's exactly what happens with focus. By cutting just one source of noise, you make progress visible and you build the confidence to cut even more. Small changes compound into massive results when you stay consistent. The reason this approach works is because it's practical. You don't need to wait for the perfect plan or the perfect time. You don't need to overthink it. You just need to pick one thing today and commit to removing it from your life. It could be deleting one app, setting one boundary, or creating one rule for yourself. Even if it feels uncomfortable in the beginning, over time you'll notice how much lighter, clearer, and more productive your days become. Every distraction you eliminate is like unlocking extra hours you never knew you had. The energy you once wasted on noise can now be directed toward your goals, your growth, and your vision. This single step may feel small, but it's the seed of transformation. The key is not waiting until tomorrow or next week. The key is taking action right now, choosing one source of noise and cutting it so you can begin building the momentum that leads to a life of clarity, focus, and productivity. When you kill the noise, something powerful happens. You gain clarity, energy, and the ability to execute at a level you didn't even know was possible. Most people don't realize how much mental weight they are carrying because of constant distractions. Every notification, every piece of negativity, every wasted conversation adds another brick to your mental backpack. And eventually you're walking through life exhausted without even knowing why. The moment you silence the noise, it feels like taking that backpack off. Suddenly, your thoughts are sharper, your mind feels lighter, and you can finally see the path in front of you. That clarity is what allows you to make better decisions, stay disciplined, and move in the direction of your goals without hesitation. With clarity comes energy. Think about how drained you feel after hours of scrolling or dealing with negativity. That's not physical exhaustion. It's mental fatigue caused by overstimulation. When you cut out the noise, your energy stops leaking into useless things and instead gets redirected to what actually matters. You wake up with more drive, you work with more intensity, and you finish your day with a sense of accomplishment instead of frustration. Energy is the fuel for productivity, and silence gives you the chance to refuel your tank instead of constantly running on empty. Execution is where the transformation becomes visible. It's one thing to talk about goals and make plans, but without focus, plans never turn into results. When you kill the noise, you give yourself permission to lock in on your tasks and complete them with excellence. You're no longer bouncing from one distraction to another. You're moving with precision. This is why some people seem to get 10 times more done in the same 24 hours. They've mastered the art of protecting their focus, and that mastery shows in their results. The combination of clarity, energy, and execution is unstoppable. It creates momentum, and momentum is what turns small wins into massive victories. One distraction removed leads to more energy fuels better execution, and better execution builds even more clarity. It becomes a cycle of growth that pushes you closer and closer to your highest potential, all because you made the decision to silence the noise. Greatness has never been born out of chaos. It is always forged in silence. Noise may feel exciting, it may give the illusion of movement, but it never produces lasting results. When you are constantly surrounded by distractions, your mind becomes scattered, your focus weakens, and your productivity suffers. But when you embrace silence, you create the space for your vision to grow. Silence allows you to hear your own thoughts, to reflect on your goals, and to sharpen your plan of action. In silence, you are able to cut through confusion and see exactly what needs to be done. That clarity is what transforms average effort into extraordinary achievement. The world teaches people to crave chaos because chaos is entertaining. Endless scrolling, gossip, noise, and clutter feel stimulating, but they leave you empty and unfulfilled. That's why so many people confuse being busy with being productive. They are constantly in motion, but never moving forward. Greatness requires the exact opposite. It requires calm, intentional focus where every action is tied to purpose. Silence is not weakness. It's power. It's the breeding ground where discipline grows and where breakthroughs are born. Think about the highest performers in any field. They don't spend their days lost in noise. They carve out time to isolate themselves from distractions so they can practice, strategize, and master their craft. Athletes lock themselves in the gym. Writers sit alone with their thoughts. Innovators disappear into their labs. Their silence is not emptiness, it is focus. That solitude gives them the advantage because while everyone else is distracted, they are building, creating, and perfecting. If you want greatness, you must learn to value silence as much as others value entertainment. It means stepping away from the constant chatter, turning off the things that drain your energy, and being comfortable with stillness. Silence gives you ownership over your time, and with ownership comes control. Control over your thoughts, your energy, and your future. When you begin to embrace silence, you stop being a victim of chaos and start becoming the architect of your own destiny. That's why greatness is never born in noise. It is built in the quiet moments where discipline meets focus and action meets clarity. The most dangerous lie people tell themselves is that they will start tomorrow, that they will get serious next week, or that they will wait until the perfect moment arrives. The problem with that mindset is simple. Tomorrow never comes. Every day you delay killing the noise, you allow distractions to tighten their grip on your life. Every day you postpone action, you lose another opportunity to move closer to your goals. The clock does not stop, and time is not waiting for you to get ready. The only moment you have control over is right now, and if you waste it, you can never buy it back. Procrastination feels harmless because it convinces you that you're not giving up. You're just waiting. But in reality, waiting is just another word for surrendering. The longer you wait to cut distractions, the stronger they become. Noise feeds on delay. If you don't silence it today, it grows louder tomorrow, making it even harder to escape. That is why urgency is everything. You have to decide that today is the day you take control, because if you don't, distractions will continue to control you. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck isn't talent, it's action. Successful people don't wait until they feel ready. They move despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the discomfort. They understand that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes after action. By taking the first step today, they create momentum, and momentum is what destroys procrastination. Cutting noise right now, even if it's just one small step, builds the discipline you need to move forward. When you silence one distraction today, tomorrow becomes easier. And each day after that, you grow stronger in your ability to focus. The choice is always between progress and delay, between urgency and excuses. Noise thrives on excuses, but productivity thrives on immediate action. The reality is, Your goals don't care about how busy you are, how tired you feel, or how scared you might be. They only respond to what you do right now. If you want transformation, you cannot keep pushing it off into the future. The only time you can take control is this very moment. And if you waste it, you waste the chance to change everything. When you finally make the decision to kill the noise, productivity doesn't just improve a little, it explodes. The reason is simple: focus multiplies results. Most people are trying to build their dreams with scattered attention, and scattered attention leads to scattered outcomes. They are busy all day, but have nothing to show for it because the energy is split between distractions and their actual goals. The moment you silence the noise, all of that energy gets concentrated in one direction, and the impact is powerful. You begin to see progress faster, and that progress fuels even greater effort. It becomes a cycle of growth that keeps building as long as you protect your focus. Productivity is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things with maximum intensity. Noise tricks you into thinking you're working hard when in reality you're just spinning in circles. Cutting out distractions forces you to be intentional. It pushes you to prioritize, to execute, and to finish what you start. You'll notice that tasks that used to take you hours now take half the time because your mind is no longer interrupted every few minutes. The quality of your work improves and the speed of your output accelerates. That's what happens when noise is no longer in control. You reclaim your power over your time. The explosion of productivity also affects your confidence. Every time complete something important, you feel stronger, more capable, more in control. That confidence spills into other areas of your life and makes you unstoppable. You stop doubting whether you can do it because the results are right in front of you. Each win, no matter how small, builds momentum, and momentum is what separates people who dream from people who achieve. Noise doesn't just waste time, it steals momentum. That's why eliminating it has such a dramatic effect. Once you silence it, you create an environment where progress compounds day after day. What seemed impossible before now feels within reach because your productivity is no longer stuck in neutral. It's moving at full speed. Killing the noise doesn't just make you more productive, it transforms the way you live and the way you chase your goals. It turns average effort into extraordinary results, and it unlocks the level of performance you were always capable of but couldn't access in the chaos. The truth is simple. Your future depends on what you choose to listen to. If you let noise run your life, distractions will control your destiny. But if you kill the noise and lock in, your productivity will explode, your clarity will sharpen, and your goals will no longer be dreams. They'll be reality. The choice is yours. Stay trapped in the noise or rise above it and take control of your life.